What's the matter with... Now, speaking of families and such, because you've got young children.
Yes, one child, yes.
Just the one.
Yes.
Now, how's he taking to railways? Thomas?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us the story. How are we?
My God.
Yeah.
Every morning I get woken up to a plastic train shoved into my face.
Yeah.
And the sweet noise of tummy, tummy.
Right.
So I do make a train track every single day.
Yeah.
So we obviously pack it away at night time. But he is obsessed with Thomas, and my partner Justin, he refuses to acknowledge the new Thomases. So in our household, we do watch a lot of early Thomas.
So you're talking traditional Thomas?
Yeah, Ringo, that's it. Ringo Starr.
A bit of this stuff?
Yep.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Thomas. Oh, there's the fucking door. Bit of that stuff. Do you know what? This came out, I think it started on Australian TV in mid-80s.
That'd be about
the
right.
original
Yeah.
Thomas. And my own son, who's 39, she was 4 at the time. Perfect timing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got him. But he likes the old traditional 8 famous engines, original 8
Yes.
Thomas.
Yep.
We're all right about the fat controller being fat.
Yep.
You know, it's not fat shaming.
Yep.
He just was, and that's
Yep.
what they called him.
Absolutely.
And models opposed to the computer-generated
Correct.
stuff.
Yes. It's... If you are so used to watching like cartoons all the time when you have children and stuff
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
and then you go back to watching like obviously tradition, even early child, from the 90s, when it's moved from, we're doing a bit like Johnson and Friends, how it was puppets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And even earlier, the modelling that they do in early Thomas is world class.
By your standards, that's a big rap for them. Because no, seriously, Megan, because,
Yeah.
I mean, you are an exacting modeler, but
Yes.
they were gauge 1,
Yes.
which is a decent size.
Huge.
It's
Well,
bigger than
compared to-
O
yeah.
gauge and
Yeah.
bigger than double O and
Yeah.
N, obviously. That's a decent size, but their attention to detail is pretty good, isn't it?
Yes, and even as I was saying, they went off to America and they did the tugboats and then came back and they'd learnt all these amazing new special effects and like water effects. Like as you would know, mixing water with any type of model train situation,
Sure.
it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And they just smashed it and they got the fog going and it just looks so realistic.
Yeah.
And even though, it's fictional, it's not modelled after an actual place, but you look back at it now and it's timeless.
Yeah.
It really is. And unfortunately, I think they did get they got rid of a lot of the models.
Yeah.
But I still think that
Did they?
there's, yeah, I think they did. But I think there's still a few floating around.
Yeah.
But even you got to see the filming. Like if you look at the behind the scenes photos, I think there's a few YouTube videos that you can watch on like early Thomas and sort of how it all eventuated and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's fascinating, and the skills that they all learnt, and just how over the years it just progressed, and the drama that they took in, and they had scenes in there like my partner loves this episode where they they brick up the train,
Yes.
the loco,
Yes.
and they make him watch because he was really naughty.
Henry.
So Henry. They make him watch all the other trains going past and having a very nice life and
That's right.
being all free and riding on the tracks. And because he was naughty, he has to stay and he gets locked up forever.
Good
Or he gets
messages.
taken out. Yeah, but
Good
it's-
messages
yeah.
there. It's interesting, in raising a child, because the original Thomas books from 1945, when things were decidedly different.
Yeah.
When the boys, I think there were some boys throwing stones at Edward, they were caught by the police.
Yeah.
And their fathers, in the book, walloped them soundly.
Oh, God.
Now, I think by the time you're talking to your kid with the Thomas books, I think they were given a stern talking to.
Yeah.
Or told not to do it again.
Yeah.
But in the in the old Thomas books,
Just a good old bashing.
I just built the living suitcase out of them, and I won't be doing it again. But Thomas is still terrific.
Yes.
It's
And
great.
I think the thing is as well, like with early Thomas, it's, as I was saying before, it's anatomically correct.
Yes.
And the terms they use is, you're coupling and
Yeah.
you're doing all these, like the points and everything like that. In the new ones, it's not necessary. They still use some of the terms.
Sure.
But I wouldn't say that it's for the traditionalists, the rivet counters.
It ain't the same.
It's not the same.
No.
And I understand why. I get it. We all evolve, we grow, and
Yeah,
it's for children and
course.
stuff like that. But I think definitely the traditionalist can definitely appreciate the art that went into traditional Thomas.
Every time.
Yeah.
133693. Your calls anytime. Megan, the train girl, is with me. Check out that wonderful Facebook page of hers, and more calls after the break.